Rupert, I know how thrilled you are to talk about Harry and Meghan, or as I like to call them, the parasite prince and princess, because what are they doing in Colombia? They seem to be wandering around. Most locals are quite bemused as to what they're doing there. Harry has given this speech about false information, artificial intelligence and social media to a Colombian population who are poverty-stricken, being ruled by a government that is accused of being massively corrupt. I mean, I can't imagine that to many of the Colombian people, the problems around artificial intelligence or false information on the internet is anywhere near the top of their list of priorities. Yet Harry and Meghan have decided that this is the cause they're going to bring to Colombia.
Well, at the invitation of the Vice President, and let's be honest, it's a very controlled tour in terms of the PR has come out, just as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex like, because they, I think only one representative from Harper's Bazaar magazine is there reporting it on. It does look incredibly staged. But I think, you know, we were talking just about security issues for Prince Andrew just a moment ago. Let's be honest, this trip is costing, and would appear to be costing, I assume, the Colombian government an awful lot of money, because the security around them as they're moving from place to place seems to be enormous. So, and also, everything seems to be so controlled. We're not seeing happy, smiling faces all over the place. They go to a location, they then move on, have a change of clothes and say a few niceties and move on, which is, it's a royal tour in all but name. But what they're achieving, well, they say it's to help promote awareness to online abuse and all that, which no one's decrying is not a bad thing to be trying to promote. Also, the Invictus Games, we've seen him do that. We've also seen them go to some, parts of the country that perhaps don't often get seen in promoting causes as well. So I have to say, it just feels very uncomfortable, and it's all about Meghan. It doesn't seem to be about Harry. Meghan has to make sure that she's in the centre stage, and I've never seen a couple hold their hands so much at every opportunity. You know, it's almost like they are glued together and every moment. And, well, fine, they're maybe happily married and all that, and they want to show that in a united front, but it just seems to me to be, pretty ersatz, the whole thing, actually. There's no real substance, and it's for the Vice President is obviously getting a bit of an ego trip by having the Sussexes there.
But what has it got to do with online abuse? What is Colombia? Why did they have to go to Colombia to talk about online abuse? I don't understand. Other than to have some nice, pretty pictures taken and to wander, like you say, from place to place in couture outfits, Meghan particularly. I mean, at least she left the Cartier necklace at home, which cost £13,000. I don't quite understand what Colombia has to do with this cause or why they had to speak about it there.
Well, I think Colombia is staging a large conference in November, so I think it's all sort of like the early stages of this, right. Promoting that. But more importantly, it is for Meghan and Harry, it's about their trying to prove their worth, and that after going to Nigeria and Colombia. But I have to say, they don't seem to be at the top, list of countries that you would immediately go to. Now, they may have gone down well in Nigeria, and in Colombia, elements will probably say it's great that they are putting a spotlight on some of these issues. But it just feels that it's, there's no questioning. And actually, when you look at this, it's been a very expensive trip to put on. And as you say, parts of Colombia are struggling. Look, the Foreign Office say there are places to go which are perfectly acceptable for anyone to travel to. When you head in country in some places, then it is deemed pretty unsafe. So it's not a huge security risk, particularly where they're going to. But overall, this just feels like a PR exercise for the Vice President saying, look how great I am. I've got the Sussexes to come here, and they're going down extremely well with the people. It's a complete PR exercise by the Colombian government, and the Sussexes have been drawn into it.
And also they've been drawn into being asked, Prince Harry particularly, to apologise for slavery.
Yes, well, because one of the places they visited is a very specific group of people who came from Africa and settled, repatriated, as it were, in Colombia. And he was sort of being asked to apologise. I don't think he'll ever do that, but clearly that would be a step too far, maybe, for the royal family to see that happening. Now, whatever they feel and whatever he feels, he's got to try and keep under lock and key. But Harry at the moment just feels like a rudderless individual and doesn't quite know how his future is going to pan out. Yes, he's got the Invictus Games, but at the rest of the time, it just feels like he's playing number two to his wife, Meghan, who clearly has an agenda as to what she wants to achieve. Now, where that takes her, I don't know. But she's trying to promote brand Meghan and make herself seem incredibly relevant going forward. But
I tell you what else it is. It is, Rupert. It's what I call Sussex washing. Because it's the Colombian government using them, and they've fallen for it, to say, look over here at this lovely shiny visit of Harry and Meghan, so that you're not looking over here at some of the terrible poverty and the issues that we have had over the last few months. And Harry and Meghan have fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
I'm afraid it appears they have. But it also throws into questions, he's had to go to Colombia, and they put on, as I say, a huge security operation, yet he deems it unsafe to go to Britain and bring his family here. Yet the level of security they've had to have in place for him in Colombia, just seems amazing. So therefore, you just have to work out, what is there? It's all, it's a convenient excuse that they don't come here because Meghan's not so inclined, because she knows she can't control the narrative here, because obviously they've got a beef about the British press. But also the American press are not too kind on them as well. So while, yes, there are plenty of supporters for them and wishing them well, but overall, the degree of sort of what is this about is beginning to become more and more obvious. And the way the pictures are coming out, it just feels like it's such a staged, managed tour within an inch of its nanosecond. That where's the spontaneity? Yes, people are dancing and doing all that, but we see that on every royal trip. There doesn't seem to be anything very different here.
And let's not forget,
costumes and dancing.
And let's not forget, they're not royal. They make that a very big point.